Hello there. So I'm really excited today. We have a really fun topic that we're going to be talking about. My name's Joanne Kaminsky. I'm also known as a Skyping reading tutor. And I also have this bigger dream for myself for helping other teachers and tutors to be able to get paid what they're worth. In my estimation, I feel like teachers, especially in the United States here, are the least paid people, and they absolutely deserve to get paid way more than what they're getting paid. And as online tutors, we have the opportunity to really raise the bar and to make a difference for ourselves. And so I'm really excited because today I'm going to share a little bit about my story, where I came from, how long it took me to get started in my business. I'm also going to share some stories of some other online tutors and what they're doing for themselves and how it's making a difference in their lives. And then we're going to talk about, how much time does it really take to be able to set this thing up for yourself and to roll it into motion. So we've got two things on our agenda. How much money are people making out there as an online tutor? And on top of that, how much time does it take to be able to earn the kind of money that it is that you specifically want to be earning? So that's what we're going to cover today. So I'm super excited that you guys are here to join me and listen to all this great stuff. So now there's a lot of people that are out there right now that are not charging the amount of money that they need to be charging for their online tutor business. There are some people, if you work for another company, they're going to pay you between $6 and $12 an hour, while they charge the client $50 an hour. And if this is you, if you're just looking for a job, you just want to get paid that tiny little salary, and you're happy with somebody else finding the clients for you and paying you that, then I really want you to really expand yourself today and think outside of the box. Because what if instead of a company making $38 an hour because they hired you, you got to keep that amount of money? You made at least $40 or $50 an hour. I want you to think about how your life would particularly be different. Now, many of us are here because we already know what's possible. We already know that I can charge what I'm worth and that I can continue to follow this dream of being an online tutor and work with kids from all over the world. Then if that's you, stick with me, because you're going to see some really awesome stuff today. So I want to take a look at, let's see if I can grab it over here. Probably lost its little home that I had for it. Okay, so there's a scale, and I'm just going to draw it real quick, because there are people that are making out there, your $10 an hour, and there are people that are actually making out there $1,000 an hour. Oh, look at that. It's actually on the other side. That's perfect. I already had that up and going for you guys. Woohoo! You got to look on both sides of your papers that you have. So we've got people on the low end scale here. And this is exactly what, let's say a high school student who's doing some tutoring is worth. This is what people who provide just homework help might be worth. But we're going to actually move down the scale today and talk about some different opportunities. So when I started my online tutoring business, I actually started charging people $40 an hour. Now, I started at 40, which some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, that's really high. I wish I could be making 40. But that's as far as my mindset would take me, because I would think, okay, if people would pay $40 an hour, that would be awesome. And if I had a full client list of students, that would be amazing. But then what I started realizing as my vision grew was that, you know what? Now that I have grown this online tutoring company and it's established, people are going to be more willing to pay for that. On top of that, I found out that I was able to close the gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. And how much would that be worth? Well, I know it's a lot more worth more than what I went up to next. I decided, you know what? I'm going to charge $50 an hour. Guess what? I still continue to get more and more clients. at $50 an hour. And so that really helped me with solidifying my mindset. I'm definitely worth this. And this summer I was booked solid, and I decided, you know what, in the fall I'm raising it up again another $10, and I'm going to move up to $60 an hour. So that's exactly where I'm at, and I know it's going to continue to go up as I continue to build my business. And that's what I want to help you think about too, is, you know, what would be the most that you think you could charge? I want you to start charging that for your services, because people with bachelor's degrees, who've gone to college, who have been teachers in the classroom, those people all deserve to get paid way more money. Did you know that in New York City, a plumber gets between $75 and $100 an hour? Hey, if a plumber can be able to make that kind of money, certainly our teachers deserve to make that kind of money. And the cool thing is, there are lots of people who are out there who are willing to pay it. I always hear this, but people aren't going to want to pay what it is that I'm charging. No worries. In my Tutorpreneur program, I actually teach people how to have the conversations about money and how to handle that, because it can be a very sticky kind of thing. Now, if you look online, you'll find that many certified teachers are actually making $75 an hour tutoring online. That's pretty awesome. I know that there's a lot of people who would be so super duper excited if they were able to make $75 an hour. That would be awesome. But here's like this one guy, he totally stuck out in my mind, because there's this one guy that I found who's making $1,000 an hour doing one-on-one tutoring. His name's Anthony Green, and he's the premier SAT and ACT tutor in New York. His company is called Test Prep Authority, and he serves some of the richest kids in America. So he uses the students' PSAT score, and he pretty much promises that he can raise the scores an average of 430 points on the SAT. So he pretty much is making a really big promise. And that's what I've noticed as you do get into these higher amounts of money that people are paying for you. You have to deliver the results. If you're not delivering the results, it's going to do a lot of harm to your company. So because he's able to raise these scores at least 430 points, that really speaks volumes to what he is specifically able to do. So he does work with only, you know, the top elite clients. He has about he's fully scheduled, so he's making 6 figures right now. And then he also has packaged his program so that people who can't afford his services, they have the opportunity to buy his package at like $550, and then their own child can go through the program, or the parent can teach it to them and help increase their scores. I'm not sure that without the one-on-one that he promises such a high increase, but I do know that he does promise an increase on that. So it's another kind of thing to think about. Now, the cool thing is over in I'm trying to think, Korea, they actually have people that are tutors in these tutoring industries, and the top paying tutors that work at these hagwons are paid $4 million a year. They're the superstars in the tutoring industry. Now, they're also utilizing online tools to be able to make that $4 million. So I think that's pretty amazing. They are not teaching one-on-one. They are teaching, they have large group sizes, but their students are getting results. And at the end of the day, that's what everybody cares about, is that their students get results. So if you think about it, if you have more small groups, you will be making even more money every week than you would if you didn't have small groups. Now, I personally love one-on-one. I'm starting to expand myself into doing a small group on motivating kids to read, kids that, you know, they're not really struggling too much anymore. It's kind of like a hybrid class that I'm creating. So half of the class is actually going to be preset lessons that talk about different kinds of books and strategies to utilize and all of that great stuff. And then the other half is going to be where the rest of us are together, where it's students from all over the world that get together and talk about books. And I call it book clubs around the world. So I've got students signed up for in Australia and the United States right now. So, you know, I think it's going to be a really cool experience for the kids to be able to connect with each other from other parts of the world and communicate with each other, and at the same time learn how to talk about books. So I know that through that program, I'm going to continue to make more money per hour doing that, at least $100 to $150 an hour teaching that one class. And I have people signed up already, so that one starts in a month. So those are just some different opportunities to really get you thinking higher and higher. Now, according to care.com, they said that you can expect to pay $10 to $15 an hour for a high school student and up to $75 per hour for a certified teacher with experience. So I think what's really important here, if you're charging right now $10 to $20 an hour right now, I want you to think, this is what people are paying high school students. Do you deserve to get paid more than a high school student? I hope you're all saying yes, because nobody can be on this hangout right now unless you're 18 years or older. So I know I don't have high school students on this call. So I want you just thinking, are you worth more than that? Absolutely you are. So I want you to really start thinking about what would happen if I started charging more for my services. Now, lots of people do it a couple of different ways. If they want to start charging more, they only charge like their new clients more. That's one way to do it, and then you slowly work into your new income. Another way to do it is to let all of your clients know that because you're in such high demand right now, that you need to increase your rates so that you can continue to give the best service that you possibly can. Or you could not charge higher rates at all. You could just say, nope, I'm good with what I'm charging. I can live comfortably off of what I'm charging. And you can continue to make that amount of money. And that's totally okay. I mean, from here, I'm not going to leave this session and start charging all of my clients $75 an hour. You know, I'm continuing to charge them right now $60. So I want you to think about what's going to be best for you in your situation. But if you're definitely on that lower end, $10 to $15 an hour, I want you to think a little bit bigger so that you really can get paid for your time. Now, this is all about like the whole like online tutoring world, right? So according to wiredacademy.com, they say new technologies appear to be growing the tutoring business as a whole rather than rendering local tutors obsolete. Online tutoring is doing for what Starbucks did for coffee. It's creating further demand and lifting all boats. And I really think that's awesome. And when there is a supply and a demand, then that's when we get to start raising our rates. And I want you to think about, you know, Starbucks really, you know, their coffee is not cheap. You know, they're kind of like set themselves apart as being, you know, as being the best coffee in some people's minds. I know that's a whole debate, especially if you're on the East Coast. I know Dunkin' Donuts is pretty awesome. But I want you to really think about that. Now, some people could be like, I could go to the gas station and get my 99-cent large coffee. Why would I go to Starbucks? Yes, there's still going to be those people, right? But you're also going to be lifting yourself up to these other people who are willing to pay. Now, I've had people who have said to me in the past, but if I charge more money, I'm going to have less students. Well, here's the thing. It's actually the opposite. When you charge more money and you're telling people what you're worth and what your value is, and then they get to see that through the tutoring with their child, they are more than happy to talk about the awesome services that you are giving to their child. I have people who are talking, I have like over 100 past clients who they've been spreading the word like wildfire about what it is that I can do for their child. And it's been awesome when, you know, I pick up the phone and someone's like, yeah, my child's struggling with reading. I heard about you through so-and-so. You know that it's not the rates that are stopping them, because what people want at the end of the day are results. So what's really interesting, if we think about like the future of online tutoring, Many students, they now have like virtual high schools where students can attend classes from the comfort of their homes. Many public schools also require students to take at least one virtual class to graduate high school. And private and charter schools across the country are incorporating the use of virtual learning during the school day, which is pretty cool. The message is pretty clear, according to studystars.com, that virtual learning is not only the wave of the future, but it is here to stay. And I think that's what's so cool. When you're on the cutting edge of something like online tutoring, it feels so cool to be part of that movement. You talk about it with other people and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. I just went to my daughter's orthodontist last week, and we're sitting in the orthodontist session, and it's just taking forever. Now, I had a student at noon. They told me we'd be done by noon, so I was expecting to maybe be like 5 minutes late for this student. Well, instead, here it is, it's noon. We're still sitting there, no hope of getting out. I had my computer with me. All of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, we went live. We went live right there in the orthodontist office. And I didn't have to miss that client. So we continued to work. And when I was done, guess what? All the people in the orthodontist office wanted to know what I was doing. So I got to just talk about what I was doing, how I tutor kids online. I was working with some students in London at the time. And they just thought, that is so cool that you are able to do that. And they're like, I always get this question, how did you ever get started in that? And I tell them, I created it. And people are always dumbfounded and amazed. But the cool thing is they hear about something like that, and then they start talking about it with other people. And guess what? I'm ending up with more clients because I had that conversation and because I decided to teach right there in the orthodontist office. So it's pretty cool. Another really cool fact is that that I found on studystars.com is that students who are tutored online outside the classroom are in fact getting ahead in the classroom, not only academically, but also when it comes to time to getting on their computers or iPads to work on class assignments, because they're already comfortable using this technology because of what they've been doing at home with online tutoring. So that's a pretty awesome statement to what it is that we're doing. We're not only just like teaching kids, but we're also getting them ready for the technology that they're going to be using as they move into, the World Wide Web, and safe ways to be able to use that. I mean, oftentimes I am using the internet and I teach them how to use the internet safely to be able to get the tools that we need, instead of being bogged down by all of the advertisements on the sides. And we get to talk about a lot of that kind of stuff, even though I'm a reading tutor, and we talk about even how to read things to find the information that it is that we want, instead of having to read through absolutely everything that's on the screen. So automatically, other reading tutors wouldn't go on the internet and start teaching kids how to read on the internet, but it's one of the strategies and tools that I'm able to add into my instruction because of this awesome opportunity that's in front of me. Now, one of the big questions people ask is, well, how long does it take to really start a business? I mean, do I just put up a website and then people just start coming? I really have wished that was the situation. It takes a lot of time and effort to be able to build your business up where it is completely full. And, when I came into this, I didn't have a lot of knowledge on advertising, marketing, and all of that. I did try to start 5 other companies ahead of time, and I failed at every single one of them. I wasn't making the amount of money that I wanted to. I could have survived if I wanted to, but I had bigger dreams for myself. And so I decided that I was going to do this online tutoring. And what I was able to do was take all of that advertising, marketing, and all of that I had learned from those other businesses, and I was able to apply it to my online tutoring business. And because of that, after about 1.5 years, I had a very successful business that I was happy with the amount of money that I was able to make. It turned out too that one of our cars had completely went kaput. It actually went on fire we were playing soccer. My kids were playing soccer, and in the parking lot, my husband's car caught on fire. And I still wasn't making like a ton of money, but I was making enough money that when my husband's car went on fire, I was able to say, I have the money to be able to pay for a car payment for a next car. And do you know how good that felt? to say, I can give you this money each month on top of all of the other money that I'm bringing in. It really felt good for me at that point in time. It was a huge accomplishment for me at that point in time. So, it definitely, if you put the time into it, you can definitely get results. Now, some people wonder, how much time does it take? Okay, I want you to think about this, okay? How many hours do you want to work? Because I think if people use this strategy and this formula, it's going to be extremely successful for them. Some people will only put in, let's say, 30 minutes a day to their online tutoring business. And if that's all you have, cool. But I want you to think about, if I put in 30 minutes a day for my online tutoring business and advertising, getting the word out there and talking about it, I want you to think about how many students you think that will bring in. Because not everybody's going to move forward with your services. So one of the important things to think about is, take the amount of time that you want to work. If you want to work 20 hours a week, invest right now, if you have it, 20 hours a week to building your business. So having conversations with people in your regular circle, having conversations with people online, being able to learn about the techniques for building your business. If you put as much time as you want, you are going to be able to drive your business very quickly to just working with students. And soon, you're not even going to need to have to advertise your business anymore. So I'm not saying you have to always put in 20 hours a week. What I would suggest is, if you were trying to start your business, if you put in 20 hours and then minus each new student that you get from that, you would make significant difference in your business. So let's say I have 5 students, they're all an hour each. Now I would go down to advertising 15 hours a week. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to fill that block, you're going to fill that time. Now some people are like, well, I don't even know what to do the advertising online and how to do that. Part of that comes down to educating yourself. And there's a couple of different ways that you can educate yourself. You can look things up manually online, try to learn it, see what free information you can get out there to be able to get that information. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You can also invest in books that talk about those topics and add that into your overall time of building your business. So, maybe every day you're reading an hour a day and then you're implementing those strategies. That's certainly another way. Now, I always wanted, in the beginning of my business, I really just wish that someone would just be like, okay, do this, 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 or this. And if you do this, you're going to get results. That's what I wanted. And it was really sad that there was nobody out there who was doing that. So that's definitely something that I've built into what I do now, is helping other tutors be able to build their business to the point where they're able to get as many clients as they possibly want. So I'll talk more about a free gift that I have for you guys at the end of this call that is really going to be a great resource for you. So what does it take to become a highly paid online tutor? First of all, we got to change our mindset. We have devalued ourselves. A lot of people want to blame society. They want to blame other people. But honestly, I want you to think about this. If I take a job that's paying me $35,000, $40,000 a year, who's degrading me? Is it me or is it society? Depends, I guess, what my vision and my goal is for myself. But I have to think bigger. And right now I'm thinking 6 figures. And I want you to think the biggest number that you can possibly make. So my goal in 2015 is to crack the 6-figure code for myself. And what I want to do is I definitely want to be able to help other people get paid what they are worth. The second thing, if you want to be a highly paid online tutor, you need to get results. We've talked about this over and over again. But if you are not able to get results, start at the lower price end right now. Start at $20-$25. People aren't so upset to get, to work with somebody who's charging $20 to $25, even if they don't get results. They're just not. And so you definitely want to to continue practicing until you can get those results. And then you want to decide what results is it that you're getting from your clients. What is the big thing that when they work with you, they get? Because that's what people really, really connect with. They connect with results. They don't connect with your PhD or your how many degrees you have or how much money you spent when you went to college. They don't connect with any of that. They only connect with what can you do for my child. A third thing that a highly paid online tutor is they know how to market themselves. They know how to blog. They know how to work their way around social media. They know how to use the free tools that are out there. They know how to get onto page one of Google so that when people type in the search bar, let's say Skyping Reading Tutor, you are the thing that pops up right there, first thing. And I challenge all of you right now to put in Skyping Reading Tutor. You're going to find that I dominate that first page. So people, when they are looking for that, they find lots of different information about me. They find videos, they find blog posts, they find my different accounts on my social media, they find the books that I've written. So all of these things that I've done to market myself have really paid off over the years. And in the last year, I'd have to say I've definitely slowed down on how much marketing I put out there because I've been so crazy busy with all of my students, which is a great thing. So it definitely helps to start off really strong so that when you are busier, people can still find you on the internet. Another thing that highly paid online tutors are willing to do is educate themselves in the areas they lack knowledge. Like if you want to be able to get ahead of where other online tutors are, then you need to educate yourself. We all know the importance of education. And without it, we pretty much are nowhere. Now, the cool thing is, I got to say, I went to an elite college, right? I went to Marquette University. I started off as wanting to become a lawyer. And when I had to deal with, ethics, I was really not happy with that professional choice. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go into teaching. I went into teaching. I paid a whopping $100,000 for my education. And in my first year, I made $32,000. I mean, there was no payoff for the education. And I have to tell you, the real education started when I got my job. The education I felt like I got in college was not worth that amount of money at all. Yet we do this to ourselves over and over again. We think, oh, I need more education. I need this. And you have to get the right education. And even though I learned some things that were helpful for me in the classroom, I learned way more when I was actually in the classroom. And what I wished when I was in the classroom was that I got to continue to take classes so that I could continue to grow. And in those first few years, there weren't any opportunities for me. So another thing that highly paid online tutors do is they get a mentor. They get somebody who can show them exactly what to do, somebody they can bounce off questions from, and they can, if they ever have a question, they have somebody that they can ask it to. Otherwise, you sit at your computer endlessly searching for information and stuff, talking to your friends, seeing who can help you out with this or that, and it just becomes really frazzling. I think I just made up that word very quickly. So you definitely want to follow somebody who's had success and can show you exactly how to build your online tutoring business so you are book solid. Now, I heard this one time that you are only worth what your 5 closest friends make. So how this works is you take all of your friends that you have, your 5 friends, 5 closest friends, you take their income, and then you divide it by 5. And that is the amount of money that you will most likely earn in the next year. And so this kind of really points out to that importance of getting a mentor, because if you get a mentor who's not making more money than you, they're not really going to be able to show you more things that you don't know. But if you get somebody who's making a lot more money than you are as your mentor, they can show you how to do that. And now you can add that into one of your closest 5 friends of how much income you would expect to make. The people that we hang out with determine a lot. We know that with our kids, right? we always tell our kids, don't hang out with the bad eggs, right? We want our kids to turn out good, but we know if they're hanging out with those wrong people, that they are going to make some pretty poor choices, most likely, even though we have raised them to make other types of choices. So it's just the same thing in our business. If we surround ourselves with people who are already having success, then we have the opportunity to have more success for ourselves. So that's one of the things that I have built into my Tutorpreneur program, is an opportunity for other tutors to get together, connect, and network. I think that's one of the things as teachers. A lot of times we often work in isolation, especially when you move into the online tutoring world. We'll work in isolation, we're trying to figure all this stuff out by ourselves, and then we have nobody to really like connect with. And so with the Tutorpreneur program, one of the things I wanted to do was to create something where people could connect with each other, and they could share resources together. They could pass on students to each other when they didn't, for me, like I teach reading, and when I have people who are looking for like high school math, that is not my realm, not going to even go there. I'll pass them on to somebody else who I know is capable of getting results for the child. So I think that the networking that we can do can be really, really powerful. Now I want to share with you a link because I do have a free gift for those of you who have not had a free strategy session yet. I'd like to offer you a free strategy session. So what I'm going to do right now in my in the chat, I'm going to put a link in here. The last time I offered free strategy sessions, they went within like the first 5 hours. I was shocked. I was actually in California at the time, in San Jose. I was in the airport. I put it out there that I was doing these free strategy sessions. And by the time I landed in Milwaukee, every single strategy session was booked. And I had to find a way to open up some more times for people in the end. But I've already listed all of the times in this link that I'm available. So once they are gone, I have no more extra time that I can open up for people. So definitely click on that link in the chat. If you're looking for where the chat button is so you can open that up on your side, wait at the top of your Google Hangout screen. There should be a button there that looks like a blue box with little lines on it. You can click on that. The chat box will come up so you can see that URL. If you're watching this in replay mode, I will put the link inside of the invitation to watch the to watch this episode, and you can sign up there. But again, the people that are on this call right now, kudos to you because you get first dibs on the best times. And some people ask, so what in a free strategy session, what is it that you do? Well, we get you to think bigger. We work on, what are your visions? What are your goals? What is it that you want to be accomplished? And I answer questions that you guys have about starting your own online tutoring business or growing your online tutoring business, whichever point you are in with your business. So I hope to help push you guys forward and help you with your businesses. And I look forward to seeing you in the next segment. You guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.